Well, good morning. I'm Sen Josh McKoon. I'm happy to be here today on the very first day of the 2015 legislative session of the Georgia General Assembly to announce a legislative initiative that I'll be filing later today. And that is, quite simply, a constitutional amendment that would lower the age of eligibility to serve in the Georgia State Senate. Currently, that age is 25. The constitutional amendment reduces that age to 21. So why do this? The answer is pretty simple in my view. First of all, 21 is the age of majority. By the time someone's 21, we ask them to serve in our military. They're qualified to serve on a jury. They're registered to vote. They've become an adult. And at that point in time, I don't think there's any reason for us to throw up artificial barriers to them serving in the Georgia State Senate. I'll say from a policy perspective, as someone that served in the legislature for the last 4 years, and having had the opportunity to work with many young people down here at the legislature, I think that they bring passion, enthusiasm, idealism, a willingness to do things that maybe others say can't be done. And I think those are all qualities that are rare at the Georgia General Assembly, and that we should encourage more members that bring that kind of quality to our legislative process. I'm delighted to have had the opportunity to work with an outstanding group of young folks from around the state on this initiative, and I'm now going to turn this over to DeAndre Eberhardt to make a few additional remarks.
Thank you, Senator McKoon. My name is DeAndre Eberhardt, and I serve as the Communications Director for Young Georgians in Government. Young Georgians in Government is a nonpartisan organization committed to engaging young people in political processes, supporting young candidates for office, and fighting for real solutions to the issues facing young people all across this state. The only word to describe the amendment being proposed today is groundbreaking. This bipartisan legislation will allow people across the state to take a more active role in their government, especially young people. Young people in Georgia face many issues, some that we can only attest to ourselves. Broken educational standards, horrible school lunch programs, skyrocketing student loans, and a 22.6 unemployment rate for youth. That's just to name a few. The daily struggles that millennials face on a day-to-day basis are truly shocking. These struggles make the passage of this legislation even more important. Young people do need a voice in our government. This legislation will give them that. The fact of the matter is, if you can die for your country, pay taxes, and vote, then you should be given the opportunity to serve your respective community in the Georgia General Assembly. It should be up to the great people of Georgia of whether or not an 18-year-old or a 21-year-old will sufficiently represent their respective community. Isn't that what democracy is all about? Today, young Georgians in government and young people all across the state, Democrat and Republican, urge our lawmakers to give us the opportunity to lead our community, state, and Georgia as a catalyst to move our state forward. While our Executive Director, C.J. Pearson, couldn't be here today, he had this to say. Today is a great day in Georgia. Representative Ben Harbin and Senator Josh McKoon are taking the tremendous step of empowering young people across the great state of Georgia by introducing a constitutional amendment to lower the minimum age requirement to seek office in the Georgia General Assembly. This is remarkable, and we truly cannot wait for the passage of this legislation. C.J. Pearson is only 12 years old, and he has contributed beyond measure to his respective community, and even took the step to founding this group. I'm 17-year-old, and I have dedicated the last 7 years of my life to the public sector. I strongly believe that we are definitely both true indicators of that age is completely irrelevant in government and politics. But all that matters is the drive and dedication to make a difference. Thank you.
And now, the other gentlemen that are here, if you'll just identify yourselves, I'd really appreciate that.
Hello, my name is Bridgman Bolger. I'm the president of the Young Democrats of DeKalb County.
My name is Brooks Fletcher, and I'm the legislative director for Young Georgians in Government, and also serve as the first vice chairman of the Georgia Teenage Republicans.
So that concludes our formal presentation. I'll be glad to answer any questions if there are any. So there's legislation, my understanding is, and I'll say this subject to being corrected by someone else up here, that Representative Harbin's bringing forward a legislative initiative to reduce the age for service in the State House from 21 to 18. Well, I guess I would have two responses to that. The first is, I don't think that there's any maximum age where bad judgment abates. I've seen plenty of that at all ages. I would also say, generally speaking, the pushback I've had on this proposal has been, well, is a 21-year-old really ready to serve in the General Assembly? Have they had the appropriate life experience, et cetera? What I would say is that someone who at the age of 21 is able to successfully navigate a political campaign and get themselves elected and navigate that process successfully, we're talking about a truly extraordinary individual and the kind of person we would be proud to have, as I know I would be proud to have as a colleague in the state Senate. So I think this is common sense. I think that if there is a consensus out there that we're not expected to be fully adult until the age of 21, there are a whole lot of other laws that need to move in the other direction. But I don't share that view. I think that 21 is the age of legal majority for just about every purpose, and I think it's entirely appropriate at that time that someone who can vote for me when I'm running for office could also run against me if they so chose.
I want to add to that. Thank you. I want to add to that statement by bringing a fact to the floor presented by the White House Council of Economic Advisors that millennials value community. This was a report that was put out last year, so I wanted to add that to that statement.
I got the bill from Legislative Council today, so I'll be circulating it for co-sponsors on the floor this morning. I can't say that I've done a comparative analysis. I mean, I think the thing that first got my attention on this issue was the election in West Virginia in November, where you had an 18-year-old elected to their lower house, the House of Delegates over there. And that's what got me thinking about this process. And then, of course, the Young Georgians in Government got in touch with me, and they've been very effective advocates for this issue. So I don't have a comparative list to share with you, but I certainly know other states do have lower ages than we have here in the state of Georgia. Correct. Well, I think for most of the requirements of majority, not necessarily just voting, that 21 is that age. I'm certainly willing to listen if my colleagues think that 21 is too old, but I think it's a good number. I think it matches up with generally what we consider to be the full age of majority under Georgia law, and I think it's something that it's long overdue. Any further questions? Thank you very much for coming.